Live. Yeah, we are. Okay. Thank you everyone for tuning in. Apologies for being ever so slightly late. Just had a few issues getting the stream underway. Okay, so hope you guys are all doing well. We had quite the exciting sprint quali session, to say the least. In fact, let me just make my webcam nice, and there we go. We do not have a 40% chance of rain. Let me get rid of that. Yeah, we had quite the exciting sprint race at the end, didn't we? With, of course, Lando Norris winning it, Oscar Piastri crashing out, and yeah, the series of crashes right at the end. I would like to sort of clarify. When I said right at the end that we probably shouldn't bring out yellow flags or the safety car for Bortoleto, yeah, that was probably a bit of a mistake in hindsight. Bortoleto had quite the big incident. I don't know if you guys saw it, but it was quite the big crash. He got pretty airborne, and yeah, probably it was the right call for sure to bring out the yellow flags for that one. Maybe even a VSC. You know, it was the end of the race, but that was a pretty hefty shunt for Gabriel Bortoleto towards the end of that race. Very unfortunate, but you know, this is what happens in these in wet conditions when your driver, you know, he was a little bit inexperienced in wet conditions and was also trying to make an overtake off the racing line, which is always risky, and yeah, just resulted in crashing. Okay. Buddy, what about the weather? Is it still raining? No, it is not, as far as I know. So I'll update you guys with that one. But as of right now, not too much rain to worry about. Soft $2 donation. Hello from Detroit, Michigan. So yeah, well, thanks for the donation. And yeah, okay. No, I do say so. Yeah, quite a bit, and I do apologize for it. So I think, you know, in some people will say that it's nice. Obviously, it's not the most professional thing in the world, but I guess in a way, it also makes the stream ever so slightly more relatable rather than being this sort of broadcast, boring, monotone voice. Rivals Pro, you make me a moderator. I shall have a think about it. We do need some more moderators, actually. So I will. What I'll probably do is I will download the chat logs for today's stream and or like tomorrow's stream or something, and then cross-reference those with the ones from Australia. And you know, if we've had people showing up from right at the start of the season from Australia all the way to here, and if there's some names that I recognize, then I'll be sure to make some people moderators. Soft, another $2 donation. It's cool. I'm a-hole. Okay, well, don't worry about it, and thanks for the donations. Okay, 25 minutes till we get underway for qualifying. Standard quali session. We're going to have soft tyres used in all three sessions. It's going to be Q1, Q2, Q3, and 18 minutes, 15 minutes, and 12 minutes respectively. Pretty standard indeed. Is it racing? Is it damp? Well, I think the dampness will be true. Is it raining? Sorry, I do not think so. I will double check the rain, and I will find out for you guys, because of course I also want to know if it is raining or not in Interlagos. But I'll double check the weather radar, and I don't think the weather radar was indicating any sort of rain, to be honest with you guys. Yeah. Which council do you live in, or county? I live in the UK, if that's what you mean, which country. But no, I'm not going to say which specific area of the UK. But, you know, if you do meet me in real life, or you think that you've met me, go ahead and, well, maybe come say hello. I haven't actually met any fan yet. I have known people, you know, friends of friends have known about my YouTube channel before they found out about, you know, it actually being me or meeting me as a person. But I've never had a person, you know, sort of directly come up to me as, oh, a UF1 gamer. So who knows? Can you tell us about the Piastri situation? Well, Piastri has thrown away quite the big championship lead through a series of mistakes, and also through a series of just sort of lack of pace compared to his teammates. And yeah, it's very different to the sort of Piastri that we saw at the start of the season, who was very cool, calm, and collected. But yeah, sort of the mistakes are coming out under the pressure, and you know, sometimes you can deal with it, you can adapt with it. And the other thing is, of course, that the pressure really ramps up, like sort of exponentially. At the start of the season, it's not too much of an issue. First half of the season, anything can really happen. As long as the points gap doesn't go over 100, you're probably fine. So it wasn't too bad. But now it's just getting, well, now it's crunch time, prime time, and that's when tensions get high, pressures get high, and some people can handle it and some people can't. Do you expect any crashes in qualifying? Yeah, maybe we'll have one or two. But if it's dry conditions, I wouldn't expect loads of drivers to be crashing out. If it's wet, then that will be a different story. And if it's damp as well, that'll be another thing with drivers having to go off the racing line when they are letting people by. That will cause quite the series of issues for the drivers to, well, keep up their tyre temperature. All right. Are you going to be doing this next season too? Indeed, I will. I've been doing it actually since 2021. Well, halfway through 2020, and had quite a lot of fun doing it. I think you guys are enjoying it as well. So yeah, I will carry on doing it. Why are Aston Martin fast this weekend? Anyone's guess is as good as mine, because some weekends are good, some weekends are not. I would say one partial reason that I can think of is that a lot of time can be gained or lost in the middle sector here in Interlagos. You look at Sector 1, you've got the Senna S, and that's about it. Sector 3, it's literally just turn number 12 and your straight line speed. And then where you can gain all of your lap time is in the middle sector. And if Alonso and Stroll in the Aston Martin, which is good in the slow speed corners, if they can extract the pace out of the car, then they're going to be very strong compared to the other drivers and the other teams. So I think that's where it's sort of being... That's where it's come from. The slow speed corners are only in Sector 2, but there really aren't that many other corners. Most of the corners here in Interlagos are slow speed, and hence the Astons are doing pretty well. Are you on iRacing? Unfortunately not. I am not on iRacing. I only have played the Formula 1 games, actually. And Project Cars. Project Cars is quite good. Is Bortoleto going to be in quali after his crash? I will double check that, actually. Still, they did have quite enough time, I would say, to repair the car, and the mechanics are pretty good at doing these sort of intense under pressure repair jobs, so they should be fine. Yeah. Okay. Killian Krausas, thanks for the 5 Swiss franc, is it? Donation, very much appreciated. Thanks for the live. Thank you for the donation. Hope you enjoy the coverage. All right, Mr. Sid, I read your message. There's no need to spam it all the time. What other F1 seasons have had such a close race for the top 3? Well, 2007. 2007, of course, is the one that comes to mind, where everyone is sort of talking about this season being a very effective repeat. Or not an effective repeat, but it's been a very similar sort of situation to 2007, where we had Kimi Raikkonen against Alonso and Hamilton, and this time we have got Lando Norris, Oscar Piastri, and Max Verstappen. 2021 was close, but that was, of course, between only 2 drivers instead of 3. And we shall see if we can get some more seasons that are close next year. I would quite like to see, actually, Alex Albon, Carlos Sainz up there. The Williams team is the team that I think is going to be the one to beat in 2026. How many sets of soft do they get this weekend? It is 8 sets of soft tyres the teams get. So they have used, let's see... quite a few drivers have used at least 1 set of softs during the sprint race, and the rest of the drivers have used 1 set of softs at the end of Q3, the drivers that did make it into the top 10 in sprint quali. And we did have, I think it was Verstappen and Tsunoda went out on softs during FP1. So those are the drivers, and those are approximately how many soft tyres that they've used, but they will have more than enough fresh sets to take part in Q1, Q2, Q3, and maybe even have 1 fresh set left over to use for the race start tomorrow. F1 Gamer, you asked earlier when viewers started watching. 1991 for me, surprising since my uncle Bill Jennings raced in 1954. Oh, that's interesting. You've actually had a Formula One. You had a family member that's raced in Formula One. That's pretty cool, actually. Awesome. Is Gabriel Bortoleto okay? He is all right. So no sort of major injuries or anything like that to Gabriel Bortoleto. These Formula One cars are very, very safe indeed, and that is one thing the FIA does do correctly. And well, it's good to see that they keep safety as their top priority. You know, their stewarding decisions may not be the best in the world, but their safety can definitely be said as the best in the world. Why did Red Bull upgrade their car after Mexico? I mean, the car was good before. Red Bull have not changed a thing on their car. Nobody has changed a thing on their car. They will have brought slightly different versions of front wings and rear wings, but it's going to be the exact same car. No upgrade packages have been brought. Everyone is focusing on 2026 from now onwards. Why did Pirelli go for the harder compound since this weekend they want to force two stoppers? Pirelli haven't gone for the softest compounds this weekend, but typically around here, the problem that they have in Brazil is that the temperature can vary so wildly. It can, start off at 25 degrees Celsius, but not yesterday, last year, we had temperatures recorded of 60 degrees Celsius of track temperature. And just to be on the safe side, they have to go one step harder than they would have liked to, because, let's just say that track temperature is 60 degrees Celsius. The soft tires would wear out. Well, the soft tires would overheat by the time you leave the pit lane, pretty much. And the medium tires would wear out super quick, and the hards also would not be reliable. So for that reason, the Pirelli team have decided to go one step harder rather than take that risk with changeable conditions in Brazil. Okay. Is Bortoletto's car fixed? Can he do quali? Most likely, I think Bortoletto will be fine. No sort of major issues from his car. Bortoletto is fine. His car, I think, should be okay as well. I will get some information very, very shortly on what's going on at the Sauber team. Who do you think will get pole? Well, Norris is, of course, favourite. He has been on fantastic form. But, well, I think Alonso might get top three. Maybe I'm just hoping a little bit. But I would like to see Alonso back up there, maybe get a podium or something. Who else, maybe? Well, the thing is now that the teams will have understood what was good in the car, what was bad in the car. If Max was struggling in the middle sector, the team will have now figured out a solution to do something about it. Because normally what happens is they do all of their testing stuff on Fridays, and then they work overnight to try and figure out a solution to all of the problems they encounter on Friday, and they'll put it on the car at the start of FP3, and then, good job, and then you go to qualifying. However, what happens is at a sprint weekend is they only have one practice session, and they sort of are just stuck with whatever setup they've got, and they haven't got enough time to process all of the data, all of the information, and figure out an optimal setup in time for the sprint quali. However, in time for the actual qualifying, it has been the same amount of time has passed. They're going to put those setups on, and they're going to hope. That's the key difference here. In a normal race weekend, the teams will have their predictions on what they should change to the car to make it quicker. They'll test it out in FP3. If the car gets worse, then it's very, very easy for them to fix. They just go the opposite direction in setup changes. If they made the springs softer, the car got worse, they'll just make the springs stiffer again. But during an actual qualifying session, the teams do not have that facility. They have to commit to a setup and just sort of hope that it works. And, well, we'll see. Some teams may get it right, some teams may get it wrong, but it's all a little bit up in the air now. Sprint weekends usually reduce the quality of the main race. Yes, that's a bit of a... that is a bit of a sort of a problem, shall we say, because you sort of... when we're on the race, we're on the starting grid of the race on Sunday, we still don't really have 100% of an idea of who's going to have the race pace to win. But then you have this sprint race that's sort of like a little bit of a spoiler, and it gives you a bit of insight into who's going to be quickest. So in a way, I think it does ruin a bit of the fun and the quality of the main race. Yeah. Do we think Oscar's car will be quali ready? Yes, Oscar's car will be quali ready. No major damage was done during his impact. Is it raining in Brazil? No, it is not, ladies and gentlemen. No, it is not. The forecast is still pretty slim in terms of chance of rain. Of course, if I do search up Interlagos weather, there is still the orange alert of rain. However, it's still sat at 20%, which is what it was sat at this morning. Wait. The FIA issue rare weather warning for Brazilian Grand Prix. F1 braced for potential cyclone disruption at the Brazilian GP. And this was posted 50 minutes ago. Let's just check. What is this? Potentially, I guess maybe tomorrow's forecast has just got a whole lot worse. But yes, that is... We'll see what happens. Interesting. But I think it's just they're sort of talking about the same orange alert storm warning. The FAA have also just been notified of that from the Meteorologist Institute in Brazil. And yeah, they'll just be wary. They'll have precautions ready. If it does start absolutely pouring it down, then they'll have a plan that they will follow. Okay, we should be getting the qualifying data coming through. Yeah, here we go. All right. And in fact, let's get rid of the sprint race data. Okay. And switch over to quali mode. All right, brilliant. Call the race off and give Lando the win. Yeah, well, we'll see what happens. I need to put my phone on silent. No chance for Gabriel in quali. I shall double check. The start of qualifying. Wait, what? The start of qualifying will be delayed. What have they done this for? Wait, let me double check, folks. Average FIA moment, to be honest. They delayed the start of sprint quali as well, no, by 5 minutes or something? Or was it FP1? No, yeah, they delayed the start of FP1 due to cleaning up the circuit. It's pretty dry out here in Brazil, so I don't see why they've just delayed it, but there has been a delay added on, apparently. I have no idea how much delay, but what can I say, man? It's... Are there any showers predicted? Just wondering if there's a mash as the session starts. No, I don't think that there's any sort of showers predicted. The clouds look reasonably light. They're not sort of dark or anything like that, which is typically why they might delay it. But as of right now, it's reasonably sort of light clouds. Maybe a little drizzle of rain here or there, but that's fine. You can take part in quali then. Yeah, I mean, if they delay the session to wait for the rain to arrive, would that be the right thing to do? I mean, it would just be pretty cool, wouldn't it? Just have a quali session in wet conditions. But who knows? As you can see here, folks, rain is equal to no. No rain is forecast, and yeah, or at least there's no rain right now. Track temperature's gone right up again. So look at this. It's 45 degrees track temperature. What a big, stark difference to what we had slightly earlier on in the day. But 45 degrees now, so the Mercedes will be slightly struggling again. This is what we saw, at the end of sprint qualifying. What happened was that the track temperatures dropped down to 35 degrees Celsius, if I remember correctly. And that's when the Mercedes really came alive and their pace massively jumped up to the McLaren team. Now, not so much. We'll see if the temperature drops, if the temperature goes up, but it's 44 degrees right now. Okay, how much is it delayed by? Unfortunately, I do not know. I will try and find out, but yeah, it would have been ideal if they sort of just told us. Will they choose the medium in Q3? No, they'll very much be choosing the soft tyres at the end of Q3, to be honest. Can you please add the fastest top 5 in the sector timings? Unfortunately, that would just take up way too much radio space, so that is unfortunately cannot do that. But yes, we're 8 minutes away from the start of quali here. Well, the theoretical start time of qualifying. I mean, maybe they are repairing some stuff after Gabriel Bortoletto's crash. That might be a reason why. But, you know, if the team have had enough time to repair Gabriel Bortoletto's car, then surely they also had enough time to repair the barriers. Yes, no information as of yet if Gabriel Bortoletto will be taking part in quali. How does the track temperature affect racing? I mean, essentially what it does is it just warms up your tires a lot and causes them to overheat, which means that you can only attack for a few laps at a time. You know, if track temperature is super low, then you can attack for 6, 7, 8 laps straight without having any sort of downside. Whereas when track temperatures are high, it results in you having to back off and sort of manage your tires a lot more. Okay, and Kick Sauber, I don't think... They've just said, oh yeah, the team is hard at work to get the car ready for qualifying later this afternoon. So that's all they've said. We haven't... Kick Sauber haven't confirmed or denied if Gabriel Bortoletto is taking part in today's session. Chincha, thanks for the donation. Very much is appreciated. All right. F1 Gamer, with that Sector 2 result, that means Max won't get pole, will he? Or will he? Well, you know, he wasn't good in Sector 2 yesterday, but that does not mean that he's not going to be good in Sector 2 today. You know, the team will have changed setup. They will have made at least some tweaks to try and improve the car's performance in Sector 2, and if they work, then Max will be able to compete. But we do not know if those setup changes will work and if they'll help them out. And well, we'll find out once Q1 begins. That's the only way to know. What are the most crash-prone zones of this circuit? Well, in fact, you know what I'll do? I shall take you through a flying lap of the circuit. Here we go. Where is it? There we go. Let me also just move this countdown timer over here. So, the flying lap of the circuit. The most crash-prone zones. Turn number 12, not really too much of an issue in terms of crashing. Going in towards turn number 1 as well. Turn number 1's pretty fine. We've got a nice long straight here. Of course, loads of DRS where we've seen drivers try to slipstream and get past. But here, at this point in the circuit, sometimes the drivers do brake on the AstroTurf. In these sort of conditions now where it's a little damp, little slippery, the teams aren't going to be taking that risk. But we have seen other drivers sort of have issues there in the past. I would say one of the most crash-prone zones in the wet is this curb here. You can see the curb is sort of tilted downwards ever so slightly, which results in Oscar Piastri... Well, not specifically Oscar Piastri, but as an example, if you do drive over that part of the curb where all the water is pooled up, you will just spin the car. And that is essentially one of the key problems around here in wet conditions. Understanding the elevation change of the circuit, understanding where the water is going to pool and how you can avoid it is one of the best skills to have here in Interlagos. Turn number 4, it's not particularly crash prone, but there are typically quite a few battles that go around here with drivers having contact here and there. Then you go through turns number 6 and 7, where you're sort of just coasting the car through, especially in race conditions. You're not pushing all too hard here. This corner, quite easy to crash, actually. You can see here, I'm on the brakes, but I've touched the grass a little bit there with my outside front left tyre. You can see little pieces of grass on the tyre. In real life, that could have resulted in a spin or maybe a lockup. Of course, in the game, it's not as accurate, a lot more forgiving, but in real life, the margin for error around the circuit, very, very small indeed. Turn number 10, again, we saw a lockup here from Charles Leclerc, and there's, again, no curb here on the outside, so you misjudge your line when you're coming onto the brakes. It can very easily result in a crash, given that the barrier is so close. And of course, if you miss the apex and stamp on the throttle, you will spin, like Charles Leclerc found out yesterday. And then, yeah, you reach back to turn number 12, which is not really a concern. All you need to do out of that one is just get a nice, good, clean run onto the main straight. Okay. So, fantastic. Did I say if this was real life, I would not have touched the grass? I meant if this was real life, I would have spun out if I touched the grass, but hey-ho. I do have a habit of sometimes fumbling my words. I remember, I think during the Dutch Grand Prix, I said it was snowing by accident instead of raining. So there you go. Maybe it's going to snow in Brazil. Okay. Weather forecast, folks. The weather forecast is unlikely to rain. 20% chance. 20%. But we'll get the official thing from the FIA as well and find out what they think the rain percentage chance is, because they said it was 30% for the sprint race, and we did get we didn't get any rain actually. We just got we had leftover rain from beforehand. All right. Forecast for Sunday, again, it's not the highest chance of rain. It's just this thunderstorm alert that is sort of the big pressing concern for the teams, because in Interlagos, due to the geography, I'm not exactly, a weather reporter or a meteorologist or anything like that, but due to the geography of that area, it's the storms form very, very quickly and very unexpectedly, and it's difficult to predict essentially. So they've put out an alert warning that there may be a storm, today or tomorrow, but they can't know for certain. And yeah, that's sort of what we have to go off, because that's the best that they've got. We have got the official delay time. It's just been delayed by 5 minutes. So there we go. And I think someone did point out that, if a barrier was damaged, then it would take a lot longer to repair. So I think that's a pretty good point, actually. It's been delayed by 5 minutes, folks. The timer up there has been updated. So it's actually starting in 5 minutes and 40 seconds rather than just 40 seconds. Okay. Is Bortoleto taking part in quali? The Sauber team haven't said that he is, but they also said they haven't said that he isn't. So we'll find out at the start of Q1, because Bortoleto will most likely be the first car to go out onto the track, given that they need to check that everything's working as expected. So I suspect, Colapinto, who crashed, Piastri, who crashed, and Bortoleto as well, will be going out ASAP to try and figure out and make sure that everything is working on their car as expected. Do drivers still tow each other? They still do tow each other. It's not totally unseen here at Interlagos. You can see there's this huge straight there along the top. So if Tsunoda was to make it through into Q3, I'm sure Red Bull will tell him to give Max Verstappen a tow. Or maybe they won't. Maybe Lauren Mickey's will be like, no, we're going to treat you a little bit more fairly and not sacrifice your Q3 to give Verstappen a tow. However, when you are in a championship battle, I think those sort of sacrifices do have to be made. And, well, luckily, I'm not the Red Bull team principal and I don't have to make that decision. We've got some of them, I think some of the Williams just lined up there at the end of the pits. All right. F1 Gamer, what's the channel with Surfshark VPN? Folks, if you want to watch the Formula 1 coverage with Surfshark VPN, it is ORF. O for Oscar, R for Race, F for Ferrari. And you go onto Google and you you find that, and then you click the link and you can watch the Formula 1 coverage. Why is there a delay? I will check the official broadcast and see if they have any sort of reasoning for that, but as of right now, I don't really know, but it also doesn't really matter, because it's only a 5-minute delay at the end of it. So, also, by the way, Oliver Behrman got a penalty point and got 5 seconds added on to his sprint time. Either way, Behrman didn't score any points, but he got an extra penalty point as well. So, yeah, not great from Ollie Behrman, but it's sort of just racing at the back of the pack. They're repairing a barrier. Okay, makes sense. Yeah, it was either repairing a barrier or just something else along those lines, but they just need an extra 5 minutes to make sure it was all good. Any rain expected? Unlikely, folks, unlikely. Around 20% chance of rain. Will Behrman get a race ban this year or next? Well, I think that they expire every 3 months, so as long as he can make it to the end of the season, he should be fine, and quite a few will expire, or maybe they expire every 6 months, but regardless, he'll have quite a few expiring over the off season. So as long as he makes it the next 4 races without getting a ban, he should be okay. All right. Oh, they expire every 12 months. Even then, I think Behrman got, yeah, okay, yeah. I don't think he'll get one, though. I think once the drivers do get to that point, they'll be a little bit more cautious. But he's sort of replacing Kevin Magnussen, shall we say. Kevin Magnussen, of course, did get a race ban for Baku, Baku in 2024. Kevin Magnussen got a race ban and Oliver Behrman stepped in for him. We see the standings. Yes, let me just put them up on the screen. We have got 365 points for Lando Norris, 356 points for Oscar Piastri, and 326 points for Max Verstappen. So, Verstappen has closed the gap up to Oscar Piastri, but the gap to Lando Norris has actually got bigger. So, still much more work to be done for Max Verstappen. The gap, which was 36 points, is now 39 points. Yes, if my math is correct. Okay, 1 minute and 20 seconds till we get underway for qualifying, ladies and gents, and we shall find out if Bortoletto's car is fixed at that point. We've already got the Williams queued up at the end of the pit lane, and I think they're still working on Bortoletto's car. It might be tight to get the car fixed in time. Where's my water bottle? Give me a sec, folks. Okay, yeah, here we go then. Time is ticking down. We got 9,000 people tuning into the live stream. Thanks everyone for tuning in. Be sure to hit the like button as well. It goes a long way to helping out the channel. And yeah, we are about to get underway for Q1 here in Sao Paulo for round number 21 of 20 on the Formula 1 calendar. All right, there we go. Team radio there from Nico Hulkenberg. Hulkenberg is out into the pit lane. Is Gabriel Bortoletto out into the pit lane? Ooh, this could be interesting. Typically, the teams send out both drivers at the same time, so it would make sense that if Hulkenberg's going out, Bortoletto is also going out. Let's see. Sainz out onto the circuit. Then we've got Alex Albon. They're out on medium tyres, actually, doing their first runs. Oh, it looks like there's just one Kick Sauber there, and it looks to be Nico Hulkenberg. And then we've got the 2 Hasses behind them, and then I think the 2 Alpines. So I'd like to see Bortoletto back out onto the track, especially for his home Grand Prix, but yeah, things aren't looking all that amazing at this current moment in time. Soft tyres for everyone else apart from the Williams. The Williams are out on super old mediums. Same thing for Gasly, actually. They're all trying to do some banker laps, save their tyres for a little bit later on in the session, and hopefully, they can still make it through into Q3, and that will be their aim, to save the softs to use in Q3. Is there any rain expected on race day? There's a 20% chance of rain, folks. 20% chance of rain. Okay, let me get rid of this countdown timer as well. And here we go. Yeah, medium tyres also for Fernando Alonso, and I think Stroll. If Alonso's out on mediums, Stroll is also out on mediums. Yeah, there we go. Norris, Russell, Antonelli, Verstappen and Leclerc yet to come out onto the circuit. The track does not look damp whatsoever, folks. The track looks nice and clean. And the Williams have just come directly into the pits, actually. They haven't even done a flying lap. I don't know exactly what the reason was to go out on mediums then, if they were just going to come directly back into the pits. Maybe it's a double warm-up lap, I'm not 100% sure. But there will be something going on down there at the Williams garage. We've got Nico Hülkenberg starting a flying lap, and yeah. Okay, this is, yeah. Here we go, we carry on. Max is out onto the circuit, so only Russell and Antonelli now. It looks like Bortoletto is not going to make it out, ladies and gentlemen. Very, very unfortunate. You know, I hope I'm wrong, but I don't think Bortoletto is making it out onto the track for qualifying. The team has got 15 more minutes to repair that car and send him out onto the circuit. We've got quite the mix of drivers, actually. Some drivers out on used soft tyres, but most of the drivers are out on fresh softs. Still, Alonso and Gasly are out on used mediums. Leclerc's out on fresh mediums. Interesting choice there from the Ferrari team. And Stroll's out on used mediums as well. Behrman is the first driver to set a time, and it is a 1 minute 10.664. Then we've got Ocon, who is 0.3 back. Gabby isn't in quali because he crashed his car at the end of the sprint race. It was the final lap of the race, and he crashed it in a quite significant way. You know, went airborne and everything. And yeah, that is why he is not taking part. We've got a replay. Oh, sorry, not even a replay. We're watching Piastri's on board here. Not the smoothest run that he's had during a quali lap for Oscar Piastri, to be honest. Still a little bit twitchy on the throttle and everything. He is, of course, on used soft tyres, which is why he is 1.3 seconds off the pace, but still a lot of improvement left to go, and a pretty major lockup as well. Yeah, Piastri's really got to sort of, well, calm his nerves and get going again. Otherwise, Lando Norris is going to run away with this one. Just looking at the first sector, a 1.3 seconds quicker was Norris in the first sector. Of course, that was because Piastri locked up, but yeah, not the best look, to say the least, from Oscar Piastri. Hadjar up into 5th position. Has Verstappen's car got fixed? Look, folks, there was some problems in the middle sector. Max wasn't so quick in the middle sector. The team know how to fix that, so they will have made the changes. The question is now, are those going to be as effective as they hope that they are? We'll find out. Norris in the middle sector, a 36.0. Also, it seems like team radios aren't working all that well right now, so we'll see if they do work a little bit later on. But Norris top at the times. He's only a 10th clear of Liam Lawson, to be honest. So, good lap there from Liam Lawson. Alex Albon, 4th position. Behrman is in 3rd. Hamilton purple in the first sector, actually. Very nice job there from Lewis Hamilton. And who and when is the fastest lap? Yes, I think it's a 1 minute 7.2 from Lewis. Let me just put that up on the screen. LH44, 2018. A 1 minute 7.2 was the quickest lap that we've had around here. There we go. Hamilton goes top of the times, actually. Goes quicker than Lando Norris by 0.2 of a second. Very, very good job indeed. And there we go. Russell and Antonelli out onto the circuit. The only driver yet to not get... Well, the only driver to not go out onto the circuit just yet is Gabriel Bortoletto, and that is because his car is not fully repaired. Hülkenberg comes across the line. 3rd place for him. Good job from the Hulk. Yeah. 1/4 of a second back from Lewis Hamilton, 3rd in the standings. Why is VCarb Lawson better than Max Red Bull? Because Max is out on used tyres, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, Max is, he came out on a used set of tyres, whereas Lawson did a lap on a fresh set. And also, I'm sure Max isn't really pushing right now. They really sort of pick up their pace once they get towards the end of Q3. Whereas, Liam Lawson, he's in the RB. I think he got eliminated out of Q1 yesterday, was it? Or maybe Q2. But regardless, he has to push as much as he possibly can in Q1 to make sure that he makes it through into Q2. And that's why he's a little bit further up in the times. Same thing for Behrman as well. Whereas Max is setting a banker lap, cruising around, and his next lap will be much, much quicker. Can you show the Ferrari meme? Yes, I shall show the Ferrari meme. Here we go. We are so back. With Lewis Hamilton in first position, 2/10 clear of Lando Norris. In fact, Hamilton's fastest in the first sector and in the second sector, and is second fastest through the speed traps as well. Also, another thing to point out, through the speed traps, everyone has reduced their downforce levels. Lando Norris, in fact, quickest through the speed traps, 338 kilometers per hour. The quickest that we saw yesterday was 335, and that was from Max Verstappen. So we are getting much quicker top speed. Well, not much quicker, an extra kilometer hour here and there. But all of the teams have decided, the tyre wear isn't so bad. Well, let's knock off a little bit more downforce so we can go quick through the straights. Yeah. 10 minutes remain of the session. Bortoletto, unfortunately, not taking part. Russell there in purple in the middle sector actually goes quicker than his former teammate, and Kimi Antonelli has just gone quicker than Russell. So really good there from the Mercs, and in the slow speed corners, they're still pretty good. Track temperatures now down from 45 to 41 or 42, which is definitely helping out the Mercs, and we'll see how much longer it continues dropping. But Antonelli, top of the times, he goes 41 milliseconds ahead of Lewis Hamilton. 3 Mercedes or former Mercedes drivers. Okay, well, never mind. Behrman just goes top of the times. I was going to say 3 Mercedes drivers or former Mercedes drivers in the top 3, but no, Oliver Behrman has just ruined that, and in a very good way. He's up there at the top, 3/10 clear of Kimi Antonelli. Very, very good job in that Haas. Oliver Behrman, man on a mission after having that great result out in Mexico. Charles Leclerc has just taken the fastest first sector off him and is looking pretty quick. Pierre Gasly, fastest in the first sector again. He did this yesterday. Pierre Gasly had channeled his inner Ayrton Senna yesterday and was going so quick in that Alpine, which is, by the way, the slowest car on the grid. He, again, today scored points in the sprint race, again in the slowest car on the grid. So very, very good job there from Gasly. And we'll see if he can continue on through the middle sector. It's looking pretty strong so far. Stroll improves up into third position ahead of Lewis Hamilton. Folks, the track is going to get a lot quicker. We do have to remember that it did rain earlier on in the day. That means all of the rubber that was deposited on the circuit at the start of FP1 during sprint qualifying, all of that has been washed away, and we have a totally blank slate, a totally green circuit. So a load of track evolution is happening right now, and that is why we are seeing such variable lap times with Pierre Gasly up there in second position. No doubt, of course, it's a lot of very strong pace from him as well, but the track evolution is playing a role. We have now got Oscar Piastri coming across the line. That is second position for him, 37 milliseconds back from Ollie Behrman. Not too shabby, and that was a fresh set of tyres for Piastri. Albon improves up into third position. He is 2/10 back from Ollie Behrman. Gabriel Bortoletto, no time set. They're still working on his car. The engine cover. Ooh, he's got his full helmet on. Ladies and gents, Gabriel Bortoletto might just take part here. He hasn't gone out onto the circuit just yet. But typically, when a driver has their full helmet, balaclava, hands device, all on, gloves on, we could see it's very, very likely that he will go out onto the circuit. They just need to bolt the engine cover back on, probably change a few things, and he might be able to get back out onto the track. So it's a good sign that he's got his helmet on. Of course, if he had his helmet off and no race suit or anything like that, then we'd know that he's not taking part, but he's got everything on and ready to go. So yeah, the team have approximately, let's see, how much time they have got 4 minutes. 4 minutes, I'd say, is a safe margin to get everything sorted, get Gabby in the car, and, well, then go qualifying. You know, you do want to see him. It's his home race. It's his first ever home race, and it would be fantastic to, you know, maybe even get up into Q3, maybe score some points as well. And starting down in dead last is not going to be the best bit of luck for Bortoleto. All right, Max is on a flying lap by the looks of it, on a mystery tyre, which is good to see. Classic FIA moment. And but first sector 18.1, which is just about on par with Charles Leclerc. Yeah, folks, the radio unfortunately isn't working today. Not much that I can really do about it, and spamming in the chat certainly is not going to help. So I will do a quick refresh, see if something else works. Is Max sandbagging? Maybe. I mean, his middle sector doesn't look all that good, does it, right now? Look at that. It's all yellow in the middle sector, apart from just at the start there. So, let's see. But it's a fresh set of soft tyres. I don't know how it's a fresh set, and it's also got a slash through it. There's something clearly going on here. But 5 minutes left on the clock. Max is now coming out of the final few corners. Across the line he goes and doesn't improve. Wait, what? How has Max just done that? And now he's driving super duper slowly. He's a 10th back from his previous best. And interesting. Is there an issue with the car? Have they gone in the wrong direction with the setup? I have no clue. But Max Verstappen is, well, in 16th position. I don't even know what to say, to be honest. When was the last time this happened? When was the last time Max got eliminated out of Q1? I don't even know that. Yeah, quite strange, actually. Very, very strange, to say the least. Okay, you know what I will do, actually? I will... Oh... The whole data has just decided to give itself a refresh. So bear with me here, folks. The data is giving itself a refresh, and we will be back. So give it 17 seconds. 17 seconds, and we shall be back. Max is just going to start in 16th position, 17th position. There we go. I guess he's just repeating 2024. That's a good idea, actually. Yeah, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and the data's back. All right, there we go. Apologies for the issues there. Yeah, Max is just replicating 2024, clearly. He might just be doing double sort of laps, like he's going to be... what was he going to... Oh, never mind. He's going to do a flying lap, cool down lap, and then another flying lap again. So that's probably what's going to happen. Oh, there's a Sauber coming out. Is that Bortoleto or is that Hulkenberg? There is 3 minutes left on the clock. There was a Sauber coming out of the pits. I cannot tell. Is it Bortoleto? Is it Hulkenberg? Come on, Bortoleto, get out onto the racetrack. Yeah, you can see that. You can just see to the top left of me there is a Sauber at the end of the pits. Can you let us know? I don't really know what to tell you. Max is just going over the radio. I don't really know what to tell you. So clearly not all that happy. And it does look like it's Hulkenberg, to be honest. Yes, it is Hulkenberg that's coming out. Unfortunately, not Gabriel Bortoleto. Yeah. Still a minute left, though. A minute left for him to potentially make his way out onto the circuit. All right, Norris, purple in the first sector, goes marginally quicker than Pierre Gasly. Then we have got more than half the drivers now out on their outlaps. And Max is now doing another cool down lap, getting his tyres up into temperature, recharging the battery, and then getting ready to go again. And, oh, we're getting some more team radios coming through. Good to see. Max is clearly not on a push lap, guys. Like, he's going pretty slowly. He's getting overtaken by Piastri. He's not on a push lap if he's getting overtaken. Norris 0.2 up right now on his current time. And Behrman and Albon just making their way out of the pit lane. I don't know why it's saying that it's Behrman has stopped. He's just making his way out of the pits. There we go. It's fixed itself. Purple in sector 1, 2, and 3 for Lando Norris. Wow. And he goes 2/10 clear of the competition. He's only 2/10 clear of Behrman, to be honest, which is not the biggest margin I'd like to say. So good job there from Oliver Behrman. Serious pace from the British driver today. Triple purple. It's been a while since we've seen that. There's always one other driver that normally snatches the purple away on a flying lap, but triple purple for Lando Norris. Stroll improves up into 5th position here, folks. 1 minute and 15 seconds remain on the clock. Gabriel Bortoleto, unfortunately, no longer taking part in qualifying and will be getting eliminated. Currently in the drop zone, we have got Max Verstappen. Max Verstappen is in the drop zone. What is going on? Red Bull might just be cooked. 4th position for Charles Leclerc, but no, Max is starting a flying lap now, so we'll see what he can do and keep an eye out on him. Charles Leclerc improves up into 4th position, and we have got Max now making his way through sector number 1. Looks reasonably okay. It's still not an amazing first sector, to be honest. It's an 18.2, which is slower than his previous time. Okay, let's see what he can do. Sainz up into 12th position. Still not amazing, really, from Carlos Sainz. He changed his setup for the sprint race today, but still didn't get that much success. And, oh my God, Pierre Gasly up into 2nd position. This guy has just done it again. I mean, where is he getting this pace from? I have no idea. The Alpine is literally a tractor. Like, there would be no difference if you put them side by side, and somehow he's still there in 2nd position. Even Hamilton, with the exact same track conditions, with the exact same Pirelli fresh soft tyres, is in 7th position. How Gasly is doing this, I don't know. Max, his middle sector was all right. It was a 36.0. That's still 0.3 slower than Norris in the middle. Oh my god! Max has just been eliminated. Max is out. Max has just been eliminated from Q1. 2024 repeat, folks. 2024 repeat. He's clearly just trying to do the same. He's aura farming at this point, because he's just going to start in 16th position. It's going to be a thunderstorm tomorrow, and he's going to... What? Absolutely cooked. They went in the total opposite direction for Max Verstappen, and Gabriel Bortoleto was so close to getting out. He was sat in the car. They had the full everything put around him, and he was about to go out, but just not enough time. The team worked very, very hard, but unfortunately, Bortoleto out of his home Grand Prix. Max Verstappen eliminated. I mean, at this point, surely just take a fresh engine, start from dead last, because... Max has said, yeah, I have no grip, 0, brilliant. What is going on? What is going on today? GP2 engine. I don't think it's a GP2 engine. I think it's Red Bull put the wrong setup on the car. Yeah, I genuinely reckon that the fact is, what the teams do between the end of the sprint and qualifying is they change their setup to go from, to try and optimize it, make it go in the step in the right direction, essentially. And Red Bull took a step in the wrong direction. So Max is now starting in 16th position. And what most likely I think is going to happen is that they might as well just take a fresh engine. They might also just start him from the back and take a new setup as well, to give him much better grip during the race, and then go from there, because... yeah, you might as well at this point. It's over. I think the championship isn't over just yet. There's always DNF possibilities, especially in Brazil. But I can tell you for one thing, Max is going to be... that debrief at Red Bull is going to be pretty intense, isn't it? It's going to be pretty intense, to say the least. All right. Yeah. Yeah, Max looks pretty annoyed, I'm not going to lie. Very, very annoyed indeed. And is he just going straight out the back? He is just going... oh no, he's having a conversation with the engineer. Okay. All right, well, both Red Bulls eliminated. It's so much talk about Max Verstappen, we forgot to mention Yuki Tsunoda. Verstappen eliminated, Ocon eliminated, Colapinto eliminated, Tsunoda and Bortoletto. What? Or did anyone expect this? Absolutely wild. Absolutely mental. Yeah, yeah. Yuki is only 3 spots back from Max Verstappen. The gap was only a quarter of a second this time. Okay. Yeah, Q2 will be getting underway very, very shortly. In fact, let me put a timer up on the screen, folks. I suspect... Let me do... I think it is starting then in 4 minutes. Let me just pop it there. QUALI, I shouldn't say QUALI, I should say Q2. Q2, there we go. Oh, no, in fact, Q2 is starting in 2 minutes and 56 seconds, not 3 minutes. There we go. Brilliant. Absolute cinema, indeed. Absolute cinema. Well, let's see what tomorrow's race is going to be like. I wouldn't count out Max Verstappen if it starts raining, but that is a pretty big if it starts raining. Yeah, Gasly and Behrman in 2nd and 3rd position. If you told me that at the start of the season, I would not have believed you. What a plot twist indeed. Yeah, wow. All right, we've got 16,000 people tuned into the live stream. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in. Hope you guys are all enjoying the coverage. Be sure to hit the like button and be sure to subscribe. Goes a long way to helping out the channel. We're getting, what? We're now 182 subscribers away, I think. 182 subscribers away from 211k. So if you haven't hit the subscribe button, be sure to do that. Also, folks, I would like to point out that Max's theoretical best lap time was genuinely not that quick. It was a 1 minute 10.3, which is still slower than Hulkenberg's theoretical best lap time. So it's not like Max messed up sector 1, 2, or 3 and had a bad lap. Just all of the sectors in the entire 18 minutes of Q1, all of them were bad. So, what can you do? But I think I'm going to have to put something up on the screen just to say, like, Max is out. Well, I don't know. I think it's pretty obvious. Max has been eliminated. Okay. Well, folks, now, who is your prediction for pole? Is it just going to be... Well, you know what? Let's do a poll. Is it going to be Norris? Is it going to be Piastri? Or is it going to be Russell? Or let's put Gasly as well in the poll. Why not? Pole. And we've got... Norris, we've got Piastri. I'm pretty sure this pole result is going to have Gasly as a higher percentage chance of getting pole than Piastri with the way things are going. Let's start the poll. Okay. Yeah. Don't think Gasly's going to be getting pole, to be honest. But he has put some pretty good laps together, to be honest. Okay. Also, the top speeds, pretty much everyone doing 338 kilometers per hour. Everyone in the top 6, 338 Ks for them, which is, well, nice and quick. 3 kilometers per hour quicker than yesterday for most drivers, or even 4 or 5 kilometers per hour. 50% of people think that Lando Norris is going to get pole position. We have got 13% of people thinking that it's going to be Piastri. 25% think that it's going to be Gasly, and 8% think it's going to be Russell. Interesting. Well, track temperature is falling once again, ladies and gentlemen, because the clouds are coming out, the sun is getting blocked out, and that means that qualifying is, track temperature is going to fall, and the Mercedes are going to get quicker and quicker. That's what happened yesterday, and Antonelli and Russell were right there. Okay. Alex Albon, Carlos Sainz out onto the circuit. And, yeah, let's see how it goes for them. Are we going to get triple purple for Stroll? We'll see. We'll see what happens with Stroll. Oh, the FIA never announced a percentage chance of rain, but most likely, folks, the percentage chance of rain is going to be 20% or even smaller. Yeah. Okie dokes. It's still just the Williams out on the circuit. I don't know why everyone else is not coming out onto the track, but just the two Williams drivers, Alex Albon and Carlos Sainz, both out on a used set of Pirelli tyres. We've got the C4 tyres for the soft tyres, and yeah. They're starting their flying laps now. In fact, you know, let's go on board with one of these drivers. Let me set up the onboard cam. Let's go. Here we go. Right, let's sync this up in towards turn number 1. There we go. It's close enough, I think. Yeah, you make your way through turns number 2 and 3. Very much hug that inside line as you head towards turn 4. Nice long straight there with DRS active. Super duper late on the brakes, around about the 70-meter mark. You get onto the brakes for that corner, then hold the car, just try and stay within track limits. It's very easy to exceed track limits there. Does also lose you and cost you quite a bit of time. Then tap the brakes, flick the car to the right for turns number 6 and 7. Then onto the brakes, shift your brake balance forward a little bit to try and to sort of help with, well, actually shift it rearwards a little bit to help with the rotation of the car. Same thing for the next couple of corners. Turn number 10, stay away from the grass there on the left-hand side, otherwise you will crash, of course. And then you go to the inside line for turns number 11. Easy flat, late onto the brakes for turn 12. Hit that, well, hit the apex, don't hit the apex, doesn't matter. Just a smooth exit out onto the start-finish straight. And Alex Albon opens that DRS flap, climbing up to 330 kilometers per hour. He does in the Williams, and it is a 1 minute 10.351 for Alex Albon. Okay. Next up is, we've got a load more drivers coming out of the pit lane now. So here comes Charles, Piastri, Hamilton, Behrman, Hadjar, and Alonso. Okay. Brilliant, brilliant. We shall see what happens now, but we'll have some drivers out on used tyres, some drivers out on fresh tyres. So we've got Piastri out on a used set of soft tyres, and Alex Albon, Carlos Sainz, they did their laps on used sets, but quite a lot of people coming out on fresh tyres as well. Norris out on a used set of tyres by the looks of it. Yes, he is. 3 laps old for him, and Piastri with the same set. Is this the first time Max has got eliminated in Q1? This is not the first time that it's happened, but folks, would someone in chat be able to go find out when the last time Max Verstappen got eliminated out of Q1 session was? Because, well, he got eliminated here last year, but before that, I really can't remember. Or did he get eliminated here last year? Last year he had a 5-place penalty, so he was in 12th and then got dropped back into 17th, no? Whereas this year, he just got eliminated itself. Russia 2021. Oh my God. Yeah, well, wow. Russia 2021 was like, well, it was like 4 years ago. That was one of the first times I started commentating. Or, in fact, a year after I started commentating. And here I am 5 years later, still commentating away. What mega? I mean, mega consistency there from Max, but also at a time when it really does matter for the championship to make it through into Q3, they've just gone and, well, got the car eliminated. How many seconds is lost in the pits in Sao Paulo? The drivers lose 20 seconds in the pit lane, folks. 20 seconds. 20 to 21. The pit lane does look super long, but only the pit lane speed limit only applies for about half of the pit lane. Piastri is actually the fastest in the middle sector. Very nice there from Oscar Piastri. And, well, that's a sector that matters. That's where you can gain and lose so much time because of all the slow speed corners and all of the traction zones. And Piastri across the line, he goes half a second clear of Alex Albon up to the top. I think Sainz must have got a lap time deleted, to be honest, because I thought he set a lap. Or maybe oh no, Sainz aborted his lap, I think. because we haven't got a... Wait, Behrman has just gone quicker than Piastri. Behrman has just done it again. Okay, maybe Behrman should have been on our poll for who's getting pole position, because he's just now gone a 10th quicker than Oscar Piastri. Isaac Hadjar ends up behind Piastri, Hamilton behind Piastri, but Oliver Behrman is once again up in first position. Wow. Where is the pace from the Haas come from? Haas are like 8th or 9th in the championship now. Let's quickly just pop up the constructor standings. Yeah, Haas are 8th in the constructors standings, 62 points scored this season, and Oliver Behrman is up there in first place. Wow. Okay. And Alex Albon, purple in the first sector. That's a fresh set of soft tyres for the Williams driver, and he goes a few milliseconds up on Lando Norris's time. Gasly, 7th place for him as he comes across the line. Unfortunately, this wasn't one of his super special laps, and he might be risking getting eliminated if he can't improve on the next one. Charles Leclerc, 9th place only. The gap is very, very close. I mean, look at that. From first position down to 9th, it's only half a second, but... regardless, it's not amazing. Lando Norris on this occasion is a 10th slower than Oscar Piastri. Not ideal to say the least, but you know, he's still within margin of error, within one corner's mistakes worth. So it's anyone's game yet for pole position, but still Norris is not quicker than Behrman. So Behrman, clearly the GOAT. Undisputed champion, I would say. Russell as well, only 3rd place for him. We'll see if Antonelli can stop him. Antonelli, of course, purple in the middle sector, mega middle sector from him. Goes a few milliseconds up on Behrman, but can he hold it throughout the entire lap? No, he cannot. He is also slower than Oliver Behrman, 19 milliseconds slower. Behrman, how he has done this? No idea. But honestly, congratulations, take a bow, man, because... well, how's he? Yeah, just incredible momentum as well. He was just on form. I'm sure he's been preparing for this quite a bit, because I don't think Formula 2 race here. So Behrman will have been in the sim for a little bit, preparing and essentially getting ready for it, and clearly it's worked out. Charles Leclerc, big snap at the rear on the exit at turn number 4, just got over the curbs, and the curbs, well, reduce your grip levels quite significantly, so big snap there, and that's why he is down in 13th position. Without that snap, he probably would have been up there just ahead of Hamilton, or maybe just behind him. Big old snap at the rear end for Pierre Gasly on the exit at turn number 12, which meant that he lost a huge amount of lap time going down the start-finish straight, so that explains his lack of performance. But, you know, the drivers have got to hook it up together. Hülkenberg and Sainz 7/10 off the pace, quite big gaps there, given that they were both on fresh tyres as well. Russell says, I've got no grip, feels terrible, we're missing something, I don't know what. Well, Russell, you're in fourth position, you're in your 10th back, but he's complaining about the grip, and, well, track temperatures are 37 degrees Celsius, George. That's the exact same track temperature we had yesterday, so surely use the same warm-up procedure. I don't know what's going on down at Mercedes, but to be fair, the drivers are very, you know, these drivers can feel the most minute changes that can happen to the car. Like, they bring an upgrade package to the front wing that's supposed to make the car a 10th quicker. The drivers can actually feel, oh no, this is going to make the car 2/10 quicker or 3/10 quicker. Or they can feel, oh no, this is making it 10th slower. The drivers have this super fine control and knowledge of how the car reacts to things. And essentially, Russell might be comparing himself to, you know, the sprint quali yesterday, where the track was rubbered in quite a bit, whereas today it's not rubbered in as much because of the rain that fell earlier in the morning. So, yeah, that might be a bit of a mismatch and the reason why Russell's saying he's got no grip. Regardless, he's up there in 4th, only a 10th off the back of Ollie Behrman. Ollie Behrman was in P1, that's wild. I mean, we had Fernando Alonso, in P1 at the end of Q2 yesterday, so... Not that big of a surprise, is it, in the end of the day? Okay, Fernando Alonso, in fact, speak of the devil, and he's out onto the circuit. Also, folks, looking at theoretical best lap times here, so hooking up all of the best sectors, even if every single driver hooked up their best possible sectors, and Oliver Behrman did the same, if every single driver hooked up their best possible sectors and Oliver Behrman just uses his current lap, Behrman is still faster. That is how good Behrman's previous lap was. If Behrman hooks up all of his perfect sectors, he goes a 10th quicker. So, you know, huge props to Ollie Behrman. Unbelievable. Thanks for that chat message. Okay. So Alonso, then Hülkenberg, then Stroll, then Leclerc, Hamilton, Gasly, Sainz, Hadjar, Lawson, Albon. That is the queue for qualifying. 4 minutes remain on the clock for Q2. Ollie on pole for real. Yeah, I mean, that's the same thing that we had with Fernando Alonso. Again, yesterday, Alonso, if he had hooked up his perfect sector 1, 2, and 3, he would have ended up ahead of Lando Norris for the pole time yesterday. But of course, Alonso had a bit of a bad sector number 2 on his final Q3 run and couldn't put it all together. But it was the possibility was there. Let's see if Behrman can execute today. Okay, let's see. Hot Dog Man, thanks for joining the channel membership. Okay, here we go, folks. On some flying laps. We got Alex Albon going through on a flying lap, and so is for Fernando Alonso. Alonso's looking pretty good, actually. The car darts around ever so slightly on the rear, but the first sector time, very solid. And now here he is coming through towards turn number 12. Middle sector, not so great. 3/10 down on Kimi Antonelli. Behrman's GPS glitching out a little bit. He's going so quick, the GPS is about to break. And Alonso now coming across the line. He'll be the first driver to finish Q2. So here he goes. What's it going to be for the Spaniard? Unfortunately, no improvement. 1/10 slower than his previous best. He may do another run, to be honest with you guys. He does have enough time to do a cool down lap and then go again. We'll check. Well, I don't know how much fuel he's got in the car, but he might be able to do that. So if you are a Fernando Alonso fan, don't wait. Don't end the stream just yet. Nico Hülkenberg improves up into 8th position. Good job there from him, but it's going to be a bit borderline to stay out of the elimination zone. We've currently got Hamilton and Leclerc both in it, and I suspect that both of them are going to try to get out, but, well, we'll see what happens. Ollie Behrman starts his flying lap, so does Charles Leclerc. Charles Leclerc finishes his flying lap. 3rd position for him. Still, even with improved track conditions, with a little bit more rubbering in, a little bit more track evolution, still Charles Leclerc slower. Still, Pierre Gasly is slower than Ollie Behrman. Gasly, great improvement though. 5th position for him. Now we've got Lando Norris, purple in the first sector. Few milliseconds up on Ollie Behrman. Now he makes his way through sector number 2. Hamilton is starting his flying lap right now. Antonelli and Russell also coming out onto the circuit with 1 minute and 10 seconds left on the clock. Surely that's a little bit tight, but they should be able to get it done in time. Norris purple in the middle sector as well. Oh, is he going to get a triple purple, folks? Let me know in the chat. Is Norris going to get a triple purple? It's looking good so far. His exit, oh, there's a few yellow sectors here. He's not getting much of a toe off anyone, but regardless, he does put himself up 1/10 clear of Ollie Behrman, even if he doesn't get the triple purple, and he is top of the times. Okay. Behrman starts, Behrman comes out the final corner and he's aborted his lap, actually. Behrman made a mistake. Oh no, he's got 30 seconds left. He could go again. I'm not sure if he has enough fuel for that though. Hamilton is half a tenth down on Hülkenberg and could risk getting eliminated again. He did get eliminated yesterday, and Leclerc comes into the pits. He will not be able to give his teammate a tow. Here comes Lewis Hamilton. Is he going to make it out of Q? He's not. Lewis Hamilton eliminated again out of Q2. This time, not through Charles Leclerc's fault, through his own fault. Severe lack of pace. He's a 10th down on Nico Hülkenberg, who is also in a Ferrari-powered car. The Haas's and the Saubers are... The Haas of Ollie Behrman is the quickest Ferrari-powered car. I mean, Enzo Ferrari would be so disappointed. Leclerc didn't give Hamilton a tow because that would have meant that he would have had to carry extra fuel on his quali lap, which would have made his quali lap slower. And that's why Ferrari did not send out Charles Leclerc with enough fuel to give Hamilton a tow. it makes sense. But obviously, looking back on it, it would have been ideal if Hamilton did have a toe. And yeah, Hamilton's record of getting 5 podiums every single Formula One season he's taken part in, that is very much out of the window, to be honest with you guys. So, the drivers eliminated in Q2, Fernando Alonso in 11th, Alex Albon in 12th, Lewis Hamilton in 13th, Stroll in 14th, and Carlos Sainz in 15th. Behrman is genuinely holding some really solid pace. He could get a podium tomorrow. Of course, it's a very, very big if, but yeah, Hamilton stabbing away at the steering wheel of the Ferrari, just utter lack of rear grip as he gets onto the power and sliding about and losing time. Yeah. The V-Carbs have made it through into Q3, and not a Red Bull to be seen. Not a Red Bull to be seen in the top 10, in the bottom, in the top 10, sorry, not in the bottom 10. They're both in the bottom 10. In fact, the both V-Carbs make it through into Q3, and both Red Bulls get eliminated out of Q1. The downfall needs to be studied, ladies and gentlemen. This is the biggest downfall that Formula One has potentially ever seen. I don't know anything that can really compare, to be honest. What's the weather for tomorrow? I think a lot of Max fans are hoping for the rain to arrive. I think Max is going to need the rain to arrive if he's going to gain a lot of lap time, gain a lot of position, sorry. Turn 11 incident between Russell and Hamilton for impeding. I don't know which driver was doing the impeding, but there has been an incident that has been noted between Russell and Hamilton. Of course, the two former teammates. It's already pretty bad for Hamilton being in 13th position. It would be even worse if he was to get a penalty, but I don't know. Maybe it was Russell that was doing the impeding. I have not seen the replay. Yeah, folks, the forecast for rain tomorrow, it says 20% on Google Weather. If you check BBC Weather, it says 20%. If you check the Met Office, which is the UK meteorological thing, it also says 50%. So who knows? Oh, was it Russell blocking? Okay, I didn't see the replay. I apologize. Russell impeded. So yeah, maybe Russell's going to get a penalty. I do apologize. Sometimes I do miss replays because obviously I'm looking at the data, also looking at chat, also looking at the thing. It's a little bit difficult to keep on track of, but thanks for bearing with me, folks. Okay. Q3 is starting in 4 minutes and 40 seconds. Let me just pop the timer up on the screen. There we go. Look at the gap between Leclerc and Hamilton. It is, 0.3 of a second, isn't it? Quite the big gap between those two drivers. Okay. So here we go then, folks. Looking at the track dominance here, Behrman versus Piastri. Behrman is quicker in every part of the lap apart from just here between turns number 2 and turns number 5 on the other side of on the other side of my webcam. Does anyone here knows Ted's dance? I think, are you referring to Ted Mosby's rain dance? Because I think a lot of Max Verstappen fans are going to be doing a rain dance tonight if they want to see a 5th world title and they want to see Max Verstappen retain the number 1 rather than the number 33. Remember what Max did in 2024? Of course, we all do remember. It was quite the sensational drive, to be honest with you guys. Okay. We need Behrman in Hamilton's seat. That would be interesting, wouldn't it? Of course, people have been saying that that's going to happen in 2027. Let's see what happens at the end of the, let's see what happens a little bit later on. But yeah, thanks everyone for tuning in. By the way, we've got nearly 17,000 people tuned into the live stream. Very much is appreciated. Hope you are all enjoying the coverage. And honestly, the chat is going a little bit wild. And I think a few of our moderators are having a bit of a few of our moderators are from Australia, and it's a bit late in Australia right now, so I think that's why we haven't got too many mods in the chat today. Yeah. Notice how Max being 16th is okay, but Lewis being 13th is the most god awful. Well, look, nobody said that Max said it. Nobody said that Max did a good lap. Max did a pretty bad lap, I'm guessing, but also he had no grip, and it seems reasonable enough to understand that. But Hamilton also didn't have a lot of grip, and yeah. I think partially the reason why Hamilton is getting, a little bit more flack for his performance today is that this season overall hasn't been great. If this season had been good and he'd got a few podiums here and there, a lot less flack would have been given. Verstappen has shown some outstanding performances this season, and I think that's why he gets away with it a little bit more. But it's always a little bit unfair, especially when it's your favorite driver. Because I remember back in 2018, I'm a Seb Vettel fan. Full disclosure. In fact, even my my phone wallpaper here, that's Seb Vettel's Singapore 2019. But yeah, when in 2018, when Seb Vettel was like spinning around and everything, I was like, no, there's no way this is Seb's fault. It's always the other driver's fault. And, it doesn't feel great really when your favorite driver's not doing well, and it's all a little bit doom and gloom. So yeah, we'll see how it goes for Lewis Hamilton. F1 Gamer, when was your first stream? My first stream was the Russian Grand Prix 2020. Well, I think the first stream was actually Monza 2020, but I took that down, so yeah. All right, 30 seconds remain, folks. Who is going to be getting pole position? Do let me know in the chat. Is it going to be... Let's see. Let's put in a poll. Is it going to be Norris? Is it going to be Behrman? Is it going to be... Yeah, let's just go Behrman, Antonelli, Leclerc, because those are the top four in Q2. And Leclerc. All right. Lost footage horror 2020. I did stream Monza 2020, but I didn't actually commentate. It was just sort of the data that was up on the screen, so I decided to take that down since I wasn't actually talking. All right, Ollie Behrman first out onto the circuit. He's currently top of the times, currently first in the standings, so maybe that's a sign. Maybe he's going to be getting pole position. Of course, we did have a Haas get pole position here back in 2022. Kevin Magnussen got pole position when, was it 2022 or 2023? Either way, Kevin Magnussen has got pole here in Brazil due to some changeable conditions. Maybe Oliver Behrman will be getting it on outright pace. And, well, very nice indeed from Behrman so far. We'll see. Hopefully he can continue on. 2022, fair enough. Yeah, I always get my years mixed up because, well, I don't even know why. I just sort of do. 49% of people think it's going to be Lando Norris. 29% think it's going to be Oliver Behrman. 10% Antonelli. 13% Charles Leclerc. Well, 30% for Oliver Behrman. Looking solid. Piastri isn't even on the pole. Yeah, I mean, Piastri wasn't in the top four where in Q2, sorry. So I decided just to use the top four in Q2. Yeah. But Piastri, I'm sure, is in with a pretty good shot. Also, folks, any George Russell fans in the chat, the impeding between Russell and Hamilton has got no further investigation. So no penalty awarded to George Russell, and obviously no penalty awarded to Lewis Hamilton because he was the driver that got blocked. Here we go. Oliver Behrman is cooking. He makes his way down in towards turn number 4, and that Haas is looking like a rocket ship in his hands, to be honest. An 18.1 in the first sector, to be honest, is kind of slow. So hopefully he can improve on that one. Also, folks, we are now like 50, 60 subscribers away from hitting 211k. So if you haven't hit the subscribe button, be sure to do so. It goes a long way to help out the channel, and yeah, would very much be appreciated. Behrman, so he was about a tenth slower than his actual personal best there in the first sector, so still some more improvement left to go for Ollie. Then in the middle sector, it's a 35.7, which is again a 10th down on his personal best in the middle sector. And folks, the reason why it's purple up above there for Oliver Bearman and all of these drivers now is because it's purple in Q3 specifically, but the times that you can see on this side of the screen over there, those are for the entire qualifying session as a whole. Okay. Hulkenberg is a 1 minute 10.4, Bearman a 9.997. Okay, Russell is next up to come across the line. He's starting a flying lap, so is Kimi Anthony. Pierre Gasly is the next one to complete a flying lap. Charles Leclerc is fastest in the first sector. He's only a couple milliseconds off his personal best. And Norris has a very, very big mistake in the first sector, actually. He's 9/10 down in the first sector compared to his personal best. So, yeah, big. Must have been a lockup or something. I'm not sure. Gasly, he goes 2/10 back from Bearman, and Leclerc goes 1/10 up on Ollie Bearman. So Bearman no longer on provisional pole. Charles Leclerc has taken that spot from him. Lando Norris comes across the line. He is 7/10 back from Charles Leclerc after losing 9/10 in the first sector. So if he hadn't done that, you know, he would have been 2/10 clear. But it's always if, but, and maybe. And Oscar Piastri is on for a pretty good lap here. He's half a tenth up on Charles Leclerc as he exits the sector number 2. Gets a pretty good exit down the back straight. Across the line he goes. 2 milliseconds. Oh my God, can it get any closer? 2 milliseconds between Piastri and Leclerc. Antonelli now on his flying lap, and so is Mr. Saturday. This is getting very, very close indeed. Okay. So here comes Antonelli. He goes marginally quicker than Leclerc in the first sector. Russell, unfortunately, is 1.5 tenths back, and it's fresh tyres for him. Everyone was on fresh tyres apart from Gasly, Lawson, Hadjar, and Hulkenberg as well. So Antonelli across the line, 4th place for him. Where did he lose all the time? It was sector number 2. He was a 10th down on his teammate and quite a bit down on Oscar Piastri. Oscar Piastri is on provisional pole after Lando Norris loses 9/10 in the first sector on his first quali lap. Okay, 6 minutes and 50 seconds remain. The first runs of Q3 are complete. So Oscar Piastri first, Charles Leclerc second, Oliver Bearman third, Kimi Antonelli 4th, Russell 5th, Gasly 6th, Lawson 7th, Hadjar 8th, Hulkenberg 9th, and Lando Norris 10th. Yes, and the other thing, Gasly, Lawson, Hadjar, Hulkenberg did all their laps on used soft tyres, so that explains a clear lack of performance there. Well, yeah, sort of explains why they're going so slow. Okay. Okay. So who is it going to be? Will Lando Norris be able to hook together another lap to get him up at the top of the times? You know, if you do look at the theoretical best lap times, okay, the lap times that the drivers could do in theory, if they hook up sector 1, 2, and 3 absolutely perfectly, Norris would be top of the times. Then we would have Kimi Antonelli, then we'd have Bearman, then we would have Gasly, and then we would have Piastri. Actually, that's the order. We've got Antonelli, Gasly, and Bearman before Piastri in terms of theoretical best lap times. Okie dokes, we've got a replay here from Piastri, from Bearman, struggling with quite a bit of understeer, to be honest. You know, just like stabbing away at the steering wheel, the car not doing exactly what he wanted it to do. Track temperature was 36 degrees Celsius. It's pretty similar to what we've had for the whole of the qualifying session, so the drivers should be able to get that warm-up procedure nailed down and perfect. But let's see how that goes. There we go. We are, how many subscribers away are we now? We are getting pretty close. 40 subscribers away. Pretty good, actually. If you haven't hit the subscribe button, be sure to do so, folks. All right. So the wind not playing too big of a concern. You can see there just below me, we've got wind speeds of 1.8 kilometers per hour. So not really an issue for the drivers there. 4 minutes remain on the clock. Nico Hulkenberg is going out first. Behrman is second. Behrman will not have the best possible track conditions. He will be going, quite early on, which means that he won't run the risk of a yellow flag catching him out, but he does run the risk of, well, just not having enough track performance there or available to him to drive quickly. But it's now crunch time, ladies and gentlemen. It is now crunch time. 20% chance of rain tomorrow. Yes, 20% chance of rain with an orange alert thunderstorm warning. So it's a little bit up in the air of what's going to happen. Well, let's see. With 3 minutes left on the clock, Norris is coming out in fourth. He doesn't want to take too many risks either. Norris could go right at the end of quali, but then let's say if someone ahead of him crashes, then Norris will start the race from 10th position, which would be catastrophic for his championship. So let's just say if Hulkenberg, Behrman, or Leclerc crash, then Norris might end up in 10th place in quali. Okie dokes, Lawson, then Piastri, then Hadjar, and then we've got Gasly coming out behind them. All right, let's go on board with Nico Hulkenberg. Through the center S he goes, and a nice apex. Well, he's hit quite a nice apex there, actually. And actually, let's switch to Ollie Behrman. Ollie Behrman, everyone has been talking about him, and he is 1/10 off the back of Oscar Piastri's best time. He's now making his way through turns number 3, heading towards turn 4. What is his first sector time going to be? It is yellow again, a 10th down, or half a 10th down on his personal best, but it's still quicker than Piastri's first sector. So a step in the right direction. However, Charles Leclerc absolutely destroys Piastri's first sector, goes a 10th and a half quicker, and the first sector is literally just a kilometer long, but still Leclerc has gained that much lap time from the sheer commitment that he's got on this qualifying lap. Behrman hopefully not getting caught up in too much traffic there. Lawson gets out the way. Those two did have a collision during the sprint race, but here they go. Here comes Ollie Behrman in through turn number 12. Nico Hulkenberg, the first driver to end Q3. He comes across the line. What's it going to be for him? Up into 5th position. Very nice job. George Russell is out on medium tyres. What? Okay, well, we'll see what happens there. Hulkenberg up into 5th, only a 10th and a half back from Piastri. Norris purple in the middle sector. Sensational middle sector there from Lando Norris. And Leclerc improves. He goes a 10th clear of Piastri. Piastri starts his quali lap. He's got 1 minute left on the clock to do so. Lando Norris comes across the line. He goes ahead of his teammate by 0.3 of a second. Oh my goodness me. Purple sector 2 and 3 for Lando Norris. What a margin he got on that one. I've got to say, brilliant job there from Norris. Now, can Oscar Piastri beat it? He's a 10th down in the first sector, but the first sector isn't the one that matters. It's the middle sector that matters the most. Yeah, Ollie Behrman is there in 4th. Didn't manage to improve on his quali lap, unfortunately. I think the pressure maybe got to him. George Russell's doing a lap on mediums because he thinks that's going to give him a slightly better grip. And Antonelli is going dead last. There's 25 seconds left on the clock. He is the last driver to start his qualifying lap. We'll see what he can do. He was 2nd position in the sprint, so he may well get pole position. Russell's on par with Charles Leclerc, on par with Oscar Piastri as well. Let's see if Russell can snatch pole on a set of medium tyres. Lawson across the line. It's 4th position for Lawson. If Lawson can get 4th, surely Piastri can get pole position. No, he cannot. He is 4 tenths back from Lando Norris. Again, Piastri is currently in 3rd position. Here come a few more drivers. Isaac Hadjar in 4th position. It's 4th and 5th for the Racing Bulls team, while Red Bull are in 16th and 19th. Absolutely catastrophic. Gasly up into 8th place for him, and we have got 2 drivers that remain. George Russell and Kimi Antonelli. Norris, is he giving Russell a little bit of a toe? I'm not so sure, but Russell comes across the line. 5th position for George Russell on a set of mediums, and now it is Kimi Antonelli who got 2nd position in the sprint race. Can he get, in sprint quali, can he get 1st position in this quali? He gets 2nd again. It's now Norris, then Antonelli, then Leclerc, and Oscar Piastri in 4th position, Hadjar 5th, Russell 6th. Surely if Russell was out on soft, he could have got pole. Oh my goodness me. Lando Norris has got pole position, ladies and gentlemen, by 0.2 of a second. He got it by 70 milliseconds last time. Now it's 170 milliseconds. Great job there by Lando Norris, and he looks to be pretty unstoppable here, ladies and gents. Kimi Antonelli, of course, will be looking to send another one down the inside of Lando in towards turn number 1. It didn't work out today. He didn't get the best race start. We'll see what happens tomorrow. The 2 McLarens, quickest through the speed traps, 338 kilometers per hour for both of them. And, well, it's going to be tough to overtake them in a straight line because of that. Okay. So, let's see. Yeah, I think that's it, really. We're going to have a very, very exciting race tomorrow. Lando Norris has been on a roll, and he's doing a fantastic job in that McLaren. We'll see if he can extend that championship gap even further. Currently, the gap is 9 points, and, well, he'll be looking to extend it as much as he possibly can. And Piastri will be trying to close up, and Max Verstappen is going to be in for a very, very long night tonight, analysing what went wrong, what they're going to do tomorrow, and how he can recover his championship chances, if he can at all whatsoever. If the rain is going to arrive tomorrow, maybe that'll help some things out. But folks, there is an orange alert thunderstorm in Interlagos for today and tomorrow. If it hasn't arrived today, it may arrive tomorrow. We are yet to see what's going to happen. But it has been a pleasure commentating to you guys. Have a wonderful morning, evening, night, depending on where you are all around the world. What I'm going to do now is put a link into for the race stream in the chat. Be sure to hit the like button on the race stream and be sure to subscribe as well. It goes a long way to helping out the channel. We did hit 211k subs, which is fantastic. So, yeah, hope you've all enjoyed the coverage. I look forward to seeing you guys for the race tomorrow, which is going to be absolutely mega. All right. So that's all from me. Have a wonderful morning, day, afternoon, evening, or night. Hit the like button for tomorrow's stream, and I'll see you then. Bye-bye, folks.